This week at Edmunds Live, I'm joined by Mike McGrath, Mark Takahashi, Scott Oldham, and Jay Kavanaugh. And this week, it's all been about the C7 Corvette. We brought one last week to Willow Springs along with a whole bunch of other cars. Scott, what were they and why were they there?
It's been like this for a while, but the cool thing about the Corvette is that it doesn't have a direct competitor. You know, for the money, 2 seats, big V8, rear drive, all of that good stuff. There isn't another car that kind of matches up right against it. So instead, we just kind of got one of everything that you'd kind of bench race against a Corvette. Viper, GT500, 911, GT-R, Cayman, M3, last of the M3. I must be forgetting another one, right? And we just kind of had a big old shootout at the racetrack. But instead of one giant test, we're going to roll them out as individual shootouts. We already ran the Viper Vette test. I think it's going to be a fun few weeks as we roll these tests out, and you know, hopefully they'll be popular.
What did we? You guys drove them. What do we think of the new Corvette so far?
I just got out of that one, and new Corvette's really nice. It's great, rides well, goes way faster than you need. But at the end of the day, it's still a Corvette. If you've been in a Corvette before, especially a C6, you get into this one, it smells like a Corvette, and it feels like a Corvette. It drives like a Corvette. It drives like a really, really good Corvette, and I think that every Chevy dealer should install a skid pad at their dealership to show people what sort of ridiculous monkey grip that car has. But it's still a Corvette.
Now, Jay, you took it to the dyno. What did we find out there about what it really does?
Turns out it's powerful.
No,
put
really?
down, yeah, strangely enough.
Tell me more about
Put
this
down
power.
411 horsepower to the wheels. That's, you know, the stabilized result after we do a number of runs. And it puts out a bunch of torque, something like over 350 foot-pounds to the wheels, anywhere below 6,000 RPM. It's really stout. I mean, it's like takes the LS3's torque curve and just pops it up another, you know, 20 foot-pounds or so.
You run it through the gears, you feel that too. I mean, it's a cool car. You know, what I've always liked about a Corvette is it's got multiple personalities. You know, it's a sports car when you want it to be. It's a muscle car when you want it to be. You know, it's a drag race car. It's a mountain road car. It's a daily car. And this Corvette does still all of that really well. And I think all those cars we've listed that we're going to shoot it out, they all do one thing maybe better than the Corvette, but they don't sort of have that range of personalities. I've always liked that about Chevy's car.
And old Corvettes were always, you know, they could do it all. They did the drag race, they did the mountain thing. But when you took those cars out onto the mountain, you had to be on your game all the time, or they'd just snap and kill you, throw you right off. This one, with its new performance traction management, it's really well sorted. I mean, it'll let you play around, but if it gets too far, it'll save your bacon all day, and it'll make you quick if you're not already super quick.
Well, let's move on to a different world. Nissan had its, you know, every 4 years they have something called Nissan 360, where they bring together over 130 cars that they make globally. And Scott, Mark, and I were able to go there and talk to some of the executives and car designers and engineers and drive all these sort of normal cars, but also a lot of crazy cars.
Did you drive the bus?
We drove the bus.
Yeah, I got to drive the bus.
It was
Around
fantastic.
that roundabout.
Yeah.
And I just let off the throttle, and that rear end kind of went,
Oh, rotated, beautiful.
Yeah, and I was sitting in the rear end of that.
Oh,
There-
yeah.
I
Oh,
was.
we got thrown around.
Yeah.
Were you picking up passengers?
I should have.
No, I failed to stop at the railroad crossing when I was driving, and
Yeah.
I did avoid the moose though. So
But
that
we
was good.
kind of had fun with the those K cars, the tiny little box.
You got your first experience in a right-hand drive car.
I did indeed, and we all lived. But the Nissan Moco, which is a hilarious name, he actually fit in it comfortably.
Yeah, but what was it? 0.6 liter
0.66
4-cylinder?
Three-cylinder.
What was
makes
it?
49 horsepower.
0 to 30 was in the 20-second range.
16 seconds. Yeah.
16 seconds. Okay.
I tell you, wasn't that an amazing event, though? I mean, the amount of logistics, the size of it, the scale of it, the amount of people they had, the
They're there for
amount of
5
vehicles
weeks.
they had. They're doing it for 5 or 6 weeks. Every T was crossed. I was really impressed with the operation.
We're running out of time, so let's get to our lightning round for this week. And it's going to be a little easier for this week. It's going to follow this general concept. Scott, would you rather own a Corvette or a Porsche 911?
Porsche 911.
Mike, would you rather have the Vette or the Viper?
Porsche 911. Or if I have to choose between those two,
Yes.
Viper, just because of the sheer circumstance and grandeur and how cool it is.
I'm with him. That's cool.
Jay, would you rather have a Vette or the GT-R?
Oh, come on. Is that really tough?
This is the easiest one yet.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, I haven't really driven the Stingray yet, so it's hard for me to say. But
Still, you've driven the GT-R, though.
I've driven the GT-R.
So.
Yeah.
The answer is Stingray.
We'll answer for him.
I think the
You'd rather
answer's
have
been
the
made for
Corvette.
me.
Yeah.
Well, very well. Mark, would you rather have the Corvette or that Nissan bus?
Oh, the Nissan bus, because I'll actually make money doing that.
All right, let's go to Claire on Skype for our social media minute. Claire, what do you have for us this week?
So Vincent Chen asks, what do you anticipate for the new 2015 Mustang? Do you think it will be the world performance car Ford hopes it will be?
Yes.
Well, rumor has it it's going to be significantly lighter, which is always a good thing.
400 pounds lighter.
400 pounds lighter, substantially smaller.
IRS.
Independent rear suspension is a huge deal, and it's going to have a turbocharged four-cylinder, 2.3 liter, making about 330-ish horsepower. That's pretty serious.
As the base motor, it's
Well, it's
still
not
going
really
to have
clear.
a V8.
It's not really
though.
clear. There'll always be a V8 in a Mustang, let's be honest, right?
Absolutely.
So whether or not this is in addition to a V6 or supplanting a V6 remains to be seen, but it's definitely going to be a new wrinkle on the Mustang as we know it today. And I think that's a good thing. It's going to be refreshing.
But I think we're supposed to see it at Detroit, right?
That is a rumor.
Yeah,
maybe.
that's the prevailing rumor at least right now.
Ford's been doing so well with styling lately, so I'm not worried about that aspect at all.
Yeah.
It is Detroit, but you have to remember the New York Auto Show perfectly timed with the introduction of the first Mustang at the New York World's Fair. So there's a connection there with the New York Auto Show in April.
Interesting. Claire, what's your final question for us?
This one actually came from the site in regards to the Corvette dyno test. Reg Mini PA asked, instead of always bitching and moaning about California's low 91 octane, why doesn't Edmunds consider moving to a neighboring state? You know, one with lower taxes, prices, and better fuels?
Scott, why didn't we just move to Idaho? Why haven't you thought of this yet?
You know, I'm on the same page. I'm looking into it next week.
Excellent. Good.
Every shoot will be through a cornfield.
I know it's not a serious question, but you know, it does have some serious implications. And if there's any California legislators watching this right now,
Many.
if we're serious about fuel economy and emissions, increasing octane is a key way to do it. I mean, we can have much more aggressively downsized boosted engines that'll get much better fuel economy, smaller carbon footprint. Higher octane will facilitate that. So why are we stuck at 91? It doesn't really make any sense in this state in particular.
Claire?
That's all I've got. But, you know, we're always looking for new questions for next week's episode. So like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Great. Thanks, Claire. And we actually won't be here next week, but in 2 weeks we will be at the Frankfurt Auto Show. So make sure to check us out then.